Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for Sight Lap as we look ahead to the SMX finale this weekend in Las Vegas. I'm joined by Jeff Beaver, who has been at a lot of these races, shooting videos for us. If you've seen our stuff on Instagram, he's the guy. So stoked to have him with me. And I want to hit our sponsors real quick, guys. Speed Strap. So stoked that these guys are on board with us. If you need some tie downs, support these guys that really support us, support the sport. Rock and Turf mats. If you guys are looking for cool mats for changing, for your trailer, for your house, whatever you need them for, check them out. They can do customization, anything you want, any logos, whatever. Rock and Turf mats. Just look them up on Instagram. Maxxis truck tires, Baja Designs. So anyway, stoked on those partners. We appreciate their support. Let's get to this weekend. I want to start with a couple of things as we look ahead to the format. And then one thing that I like about this one that I feel they should make these adjustments for the other ones. And I know it's not always as easy because lighting is expensive and not always available, but these should be at night. All of them should be at night. I think that a lot of people are excited. There's finally a night race. There's just a better vibe. Daytime races are not as, I don't know, they're just not as cool. And especially when it's hot and humid, it'd be cool to have these things in the evening when it's a little more cool. What do you say, Jeff?
I think day races, being super motocross day races, I think they were trying to bring in some of that element of the outdoor nationals. But the outdoor nationals are picturesque. I mean, picture High Point or Unadilla or Washougal. It's beautiful. You want to be out there in the day, right? It's gorgeous. Texas Motor Speedway is like being in a frying pan, and Charlotte wasn't that bad, but it doesn't have the ambiance, I guess you could say. And when the lights go out and the fireworks go off and the laser light shows, Supercross has that in spades. So for the super motocross, I just think they need to real quick. I'll kind of vent my 2 cents on it. If I was going to do super motocross, I would do one round, like take Ironman and add like another 2 minutes to the lap time and just add like a super motocross section and make it like a 4 minute lap time motocross race. And that's the super part about it. And hold it in the day at Ironman. And then go to some other facility, maybe Vegas, and have it a full on supercross track, but make it like a 3 minute lap time supercross track where you got a whole rhythm lane, triples, all that stuff out behind the stadium, jumping over the thing, see if we can get somebody to land on the back of somebody's bike, like what's his name back in the day. Do something like that, and then have a hybrid, one of the two. But you could do one in the day, one at the night, and I don't know what you do with the third one, but that's the cool thing about it is they've got so much time. It's so new, they can make these kind of adjustments. But I agree, the way they do it now, it should be run at night. It would just be a lot better for everybody.
Yeah, and they've done a great job with this. It adds it does add a lot of kind of a refreshing change to the series. I still wish they knocked the Nationals down to 10, take a couple of rounds off Supercross. So we aren't continuing to add rounds for these guys. I think it's too much, but it is a cool format. I am digging it. I think most people agree with that and feel the same way. I also don't like the way the teams are getting paid this money. I think it should go to the riders. I think that's a mistake and a bad precedent to set. And there's been reports that more and more teams are keeping more and more of the money as this thing goes on. And I think that'll be a continuing trend. So I'm bummed on that, but whatever. It is what it is. Couple of things. Going to be hot this weekend again, 91 degrees, but dry. Vegas is that super dry air, which will change things. There was a video you put up on our Instagram page. It was Tomac after one of the motos last weekend, and I've never seen him look so tired. He looked spent, and everybody, by all
He was
accounts,
cooked.
yeah, it was just really humid there and hot. And I think he trains at elevation, which is good, but it's very dry there. So when he gets to humidity, that's got to be a difficult transition for him. The Lawrences and Chase, these guys train in Florida, tons of humidity, no elevation, but most of our nationals are at, low elevation. So that works for them. One thing about Vegas, if you are not used to this dry air, if you're used to a very humid climate, you'll come here and it will dry out your airway so fast. I mean, even from California, I'd go to Vegas for the Supercross finale, and you do 2 laps and your mouth is like a desert. I mean, you're trying to just like lick your lips and get some moisture in your mouth. Your whole throat's dry. It can be problematic. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the riders this weekend. Just something to think about. I want to talk about the dirt real quick. You shot a really cool couple of photos on your way past there. You drove past earlier this week. The dirt was all piled up, and it looked like this really dark. It doesn't look like Nevada dirt. Now, maybe it
No.
was they just had a bunch of water on it, but it looked different to me. I don't know what you thought. There's a huge pile of sand. There's a sand section here, which is cool. So it'll be interesting to see how this soil turns out because, like I said,
Yeah.
it looks different.
When you look at that soil, if you zoomed in on the picture, you could see that they'd been keeping water on it in the pile to keep some moisture in it. And it was a little bit lighter in there, but it didn't look like that beige Nevada crap that we all love.
We don't love it.
Southern
Nobody loves
Nevada.
it.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic, but Southern Nevada is a lot different than the dirt I'm used to in Northern Nevada up at the mines. But I was like, where did they bring this dirt in from? I don't know if they found a stash that was out there from something else, but one of the big snafus this last week that everybody's been talking about with the Fort Worth round is why didn't they bring the dirt over from Dallas, and the logistics to truck how many hundreds of yards of dirt 30 miles over, dump it, and then bring it back. You might as well just gave the tickets away for free, right? They're not going to make any money. So logistically, bringing the dirt in from California wouldn't make no sense. It just did not. I don't know if they sent it through a bunch of grizzly bars, got all the rocks out, and they like really prepped this dirt up and kind of made this dirt, mix sand, mulch, whatever in with it. There's ways to spice all that kind of crap up with topsoil, but it didn't look like they just had a pile of Vegas Speedway dirt from out in the back 40 that they brought in. It looked a lot different. So I was pretty stoked on that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that shapes up. As far as the track layout, it has a little bit of everything. Got some really fast sections with sweepers, sand section. It's got a real tight section where it's back and forth, 180s, which I like. So a little bit of everything. One thing I think we need to keep an eye on, and I hope that the guys building this pay some attention, is the start. So it's 2 lanes divided by a middle lane. Just like we've had it at the first round where they went down start and turned out. This one, they both come down the start and they turn in 180 degrees and they join a center lane. And I'm thinking, man, they better have a good barrier there down in that corner because inevitably guys will come in hot and swing wide, and then the 2 lanes are going to smash into each other. You could have some head-on stuff down there. Yeah, so maybe those barriers they put in front of the mechanics area. I don't know. They better do something.
I think they're going to put a dirt berm down there. Like at the start.
Well, that'll just send them up into the air into each other. I don't think that fixes it.
Nah, that's true. I don't know. What the hell do I know?
We'll have to see what happens. It's gonna keep.
I might get on the line. That'd be the one time I might be able to get a start because when everybody crashes, my fat ass will come around 3 minutes later and ride past all the down riders.
No, they'd still be up. They would have gone to the hospital, gotten help, got back on the bike, and still be in front of you.
Before I got across the gate. Yeah, I suck. I forgot. Yeah, I can't ride.
So a couple of other things to keep in mind. There's a KTM Junior Championship. So all of the winners of the KTM Junior Supercross Series, they have their final event. We have the Futures, which they call in the World Futures Championship, or
what is it they're calling that? They're calling it the World All Stars, 250 World All Stars.
So this is cool. This is kind of your top futures guys again. Davies, Manier, the new Australian kid who showed so well. Landon Gordon and his brother Revan. Yeah, some really great kids, and this is truly the future. We just got Mitch's new guy out of there. So this is definitely these kids you're going to be watching. We're going to be talking about in pro racing in a year or two. So Drew Adams, his name was escaping me, but Drew obviously excelled in this year, and he's made his jump up. So keep an eye on that. Having said all that, let's get to the 2 premier classes. The 250 class, not a whole lot to talk about here, to be really honest. If we're looking at the points, Deegan's got a clean 100 points right now. Vial's at 81. Levi Kitchen at 78. Shimoda 76. Beaumaire 69. It is triple points. But that only means rather than 25 points for a win, it's 75 for a win, rather than 22 for
But
second.
isn't it Olympic? Isn't it Olympic scoring?
Yeah, but it's Olympic scoring for the overall, and then the points are just tripled.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it isn't 75 points per moto, or it's just triple points for your overall.
I'm not trying to get into math. I know Denny Stevens is going to watch and be like, "Hey, Cletus, you got that wrong again." So I'm trying not to do that.
So when you think about that, it's rather than 25-75, rather than 22, that'd be 66. So you can see
Okay.
the difference right there. 9-point swing from first to second. It's a big swing. Vial could win this still mathematically, but it would take Deegan doing pretty bad. So Deegan's looking really good for this. I mean, really, no one's touched him. I think that there is there's something on the line for these guys, though, looking ahead to 25, sort of establishing themselves as kind of a guy to watch out for next year. These guys that are going to have to race Deegan, particularly if he bumps to the West Coast, like there's been chatter. Man, you want to come out and at least beat him or race him a little bit so that next year he's kind of worried about you. You know, I feel like, say, Levi Kitchen, Deegan's just got his number. You know, he called it out at the opening round at Fox, like, oh yeah, I know, Levi, he gets tired at the end. I'll pass him later in the moto. I mean, he just called it out, and then it's like it played out every weekend where Levi was up front. It played out exactly that way. Levi could be out front by a pretty good lead, and at the end of the moto, here comes Deegan going by him, and I'm like, man, he called it out, like you know, so
Pretty gnarly. The way I think to me, I would think that Vial's going to stay and defend the East. I don't think he's going to chase Haiden West. And did you see today that RJ pulled out? He's not racing Vegas, so he's getting ready. I think RJ's getting ready to defend West. So I think the dog fight's going to be in the West Coast. I don't know if maybe Tom does say, "Hey, if that's where Deegan and RJ are going to be, I want to be in the middle of that. I want a dog fight with Deegan." And then how many people are going to sit around and waiting to see what coast Haiden goes to? And they're like, "I'm going to slide on over here to the east," you know.
yeah, there'll
But
be some people doing that, but I think it makes more sense to keep Beaumer on the West. Let Vial run the number one plate. I don't see them switching. I really don't.
yeah,
Shimoda is a guy who they could bump him one way or the other, depending on what's going on with um, his teammate over there with his knee. Typically, when you have a knee done this late in the year, you're going to want to ride east. You're going to want that extra
yeah.
time, as much extra time as you can get. So I would see Shimoda on the west, and
I'm really interested to see what Beaumer does in Supercross next year, because he's got a full season under his belt and he really came alive in SMX. And that, I posted a video day or two ago, and you watch some of the stuff that he does on the track, and it's just as exciting to watch as some of the stuff Haiden does. He doesn't do it consistently like Haiden does, but he's got that spark and that fire. And I could really see those two really having a knockdown drag out in the 250 West next year.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Beaumer's definitely had a good season. It's been solid. I would say one of his best rides was probably the opener at Anaheim. It was a little bit, I would say that was his most exciting race of the year until last weekend, or this SMX series. He's done really well.
Charlotte, yeah.
Charlotte, he was great, but overall, awesome season for him. And so, yeah, you're right. He's got a lot of potential going into next season. So anyway, not a whole lot to really consider here. It's kind of straightforward. Deegan's the class of the field at the moment, and it'll take something big to knock him off. I wouldn't bet against him if you're spending money. Let's jump over to the 450 class, and because this one is interesting. We've got a winner's take all situation between three guys: Hunter, Sexton, and Jet. You've got Hunter at 90, Sexton at 89, Jet at 81. So that's that 9-point swing. Jet wins, Hunter gets second. It's 9-point difference. He wins with the overall in the night. And the most overalls in SMX, which is actually a pretty interesting question to ask. How are they breaking ties? If it was a Supercross series and you tied in points, it would be who has the most overalls. So are they taking the most overalls for the whole season since it's super motocross? Is it just in the 3 SMX rounds? In which case, Jet, who would have 2 wins, he'd get it. Interesting question to ask. I don't have the answer. We'll see if we can track that down for you guys.
I would
And
think
then
the fair thing would be how they finished in SMX.
I think that's probably right, but I don't know that for sure. ET is at 69 points, AP at 62. That's your top 5. So it's really ET is a long shot here. Really, it's between those 3 guys. But man, this is the dream scenario. It's winner take all, and that is really it's exactly how you want it. Now, you did a couple of polls. Let's hear the results from those because the folks kind of spoke to what they think is going to happen.
We had a significant amount of people respond to these, and the first one was Haiden asking if he was going to go 1-1 at Vegas, and 90% of the people said yeah. So I think everybody's just kind of in their head thinking that Hayden's going to get it. Will he? I mean, anything can happen. One thing I did see is they're already in Vegas acclimating. I think that's probably a smart move. I've already seen a lot of racers are there getting acclimated to that dry condition before they ride tomorrow, flying on Wednesday. And if you spend a day or two out there, it's a lot better than just showing up and going to when you're in Nevada. With all my experience out there, going to work in the mines, if you just show up and then go to work the next day, you feel like you were in a blast furnace. If you go out there for a couple of days and then go to work, it's a lot easier on your body. So hopefully that's what a lot of these guys are doing. But I think that poll's probably going to play out and age pretty well. The next one was out of the 2 Lawrence brothers, who would finish ahead of the other one, and 75% of people said it'd be Jet. And then the last poll I did was Chase Sexton. Is he your SMX champ? And it was 40% yes, 60% no. So I think a lot of people are speaking that they think it's going to be, Haiden and Jet at the end of the day again. And, that's cool if that happens, because it really sets the stage for 26 Supercross when Haiden walks in the door. What kind of dogfight are we going to have there? So no matter how it plays out, if Chase wins it, he shuts everybody up. No more of this. Well, you only won because Tomac blew his Achilles and Jet wadded himself at Hangtown. So if Chase wins, the story works out awesome. If Hunter wins, hell yeah, he finally beat Jetson for a championship. And then if Jet wins, we get Jet and Haiden in 26 in Supercross. No matter how it plays out, it's sick for the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if Chase wins, there will still be chatter that, well, he came in with the lead because both of those guys were out all summer. Do with that what you will.
He's down by a point.
Yeah, but I'm saying he came in with a points lead. So, like I said, do with that what you will. I'd like to see Hunter get this done just because he hasn't yet. You know what I mean? He's been very methodical, but it would be incredibly difficult to go all these years with your little brother whooping your butt. I just think it would be really cool to see him come out and get this done, and adds another title contender into the mix going into 25. I'd really like to see Tomac win the race, Hunter win the championship. I don't know how that would have to work points wise, and finish wise, but I think what you're going to see here, because like I said, they're assuming everybody's going to go, these guys are going to go 1, 2, 3. But when you add Eli into the mix, it changes things up, right? I mean, it could definitely change things up. If Eli wins, Jet gets second, Hunter gets third, Hunter still wins the overall.
And there's always the Anderson factor too. What if Anderson gets out there and just decides, hey, remember this? And
yeah, no kidding.
You just never know. Racing is racing, so it's going to be such a rad weekend. And one other thing I want to talk about SMX. One thing that I've really enjoyed about it, being out there as a filmer, I like the Friday free practice, dude. I dig that, dude. I hope that for press day, they kind of do that in Supercross. I think opening it up to everybody going out there and riding on Friday would be so awesome. I really liked it. I really liked the whole format of what they're doing on Friday out there. I really like the pre-race press conference that allows the fans to get in there. I just think that's cool. If you when you go watch it, there's a ton of people there checking it out. I thought that was just something really cool that the Super Motocross rounds brought in, and just everybody riding Friday, man. The vibe is just so fun. It's like kind of when we went to the NGPC at Ridgecrest and we were out there and everybody was just having a good time. That's kind of what it reminds me of on Fridays. Everybody's having a good time. There's no real pressure. They can go out there, rip, learn the track, throw some whips, have some fun. It's like a super long press day session. And then Saturday's go time, right? And so I really hope that's something that they're like writing their notes down. Hey, man, that's a damn good idea. They can make some revenue selling some tickets on Friday to cover the cost of putting on a show on Friday for the open practice. But I don't know if I imagine the factory guys are kind of indifferent to it because they're gonna most of the time they're gonna get the press day ride anyway. But the privateers, they're the ones who are gonna really benefit from that, getting the extra track time. So I think it's a win for the fans and a win for a lot of the racers. And I really hope that that's something that comes out of this and ends up into the Supercross series. You know,
Well,
there's
that's the
so
way it
many.
used to be. There used to be Friday practice, and at the Nationals, it used to be Friday practice, Saturday was off, and you race Sunday. That was just a really long weekend, even for Supercross. That's why they shortened it up. They invite two or three teams and any local privateers, and it changes week to week. So you don't have to go in every time an extra day early. So most teams fly in Friday, they race Saturday, they're out Sunday morning.
Yeah,
It
maybe
just
for the privateers, you know, let the privateers get out there or any of the factory teams that want to show up. You know, I think it would be. I just enjoy the shit out of it. But I'm a racing junkie, so another day at the track is just fun for me.
yeah, it's great for us. And the riders that are there, they're going to be a little more relaxed because there isn't the pressure of race day. You probably get a little bit better content, them a little more loose and just being themselves. The problem is from a travel perspective, it gets just really old. It gets old an extra night in a hotel, an extra night going out and eating dinner somewhere. You know, it's just it adds up. And I know all the teams and riders, they like coming in, getting their job done and going home. So
Yeah,
I know you like to film them, but as a former rider, I can tell you I wanted to get in, get my job done, and go home.
yeah,
So,
no, I get it.
all right. Anything else? I mean, that's really all we got. It's the stage is set for an incredible weekend. All kinds of events going on. As you mentioned, if you can make it out Friday, there is a cool interaction point. I did really like this, where the fans get to sit in on the press conference and they can ask questions. I don't know how you could do that logistically at a Supercross. Try to put 30,000 people in a place where they can ask questions. I don't think that's feasible, but it is a neat format here for these Fridays. And if you're in the area and
I'm
you're
surprised nobody
available,
showed up and done the Happy Gilmore. You know, a heckler has showed up. I was just waiting for a heckler to show up, but nobody's done that yet. And maybe we should probably clip this spot out. I don't want anybody coming in there. Damn you, Jeff! You shouldn't have said nothing. But I that's the only thing I would worry about. That is some guy coming in and being a butthead. But the real cool thing about it is most of it was kids asking the questions, little kids.
mm,
And man, you should see the way Eli lit up. I forget what the kid asked Eli, but this little kid asked Eli a question, and Eli lit up like it was Christmas Day. You could tell that they thoroughly enjoyed the little kids. So if you're going to be out there tomorrow and you got your kid, go to that thing. It's at 11:30. The pits open at 11. Take your kid over there and put Eli on the spot, put Jed on the spot. You know, they just get the biggest smile on their face out of it because it's so innocent, right? It's just
yeah,
hilarious. Right? And one kid asked AP if bull riding helped him ride the motorcycle, you know, and AP's reaction and answer to it were hilarious, right? You know, so it is a good time. Yeah, there's a huge opportunity for autograph signings on Friday too. They have a big open window as soon as practice is over. There's like an hour or something of practice, and then they do some other stuff. Real quick on the Saturday night, uh, it's going to be live on Peacock at 5 o'clock West time. Is 5:09 is the gate drop for the World All-Stars, the 250. So Cole Davies and those guys. So if you're planning on watching, that should be on Peacock. Check that out. That's going to be an awesome race. And I think that Caden Manier, I can't wait to see what he does on a kind of supercross track. And then the gate drop is back to our 7:05 gate drop night race time. It's going to be sick, dude. We're going to get a full-on night race at Vegas, dude. And then if anybody knows where the after parties are, let us know. I'll send Nate because I've got to fly back to Texas on Sunday morning. But yeah, at least we can come film and have some fun.
That's right. And if you'll heckle Ken Roxon at the press conference, I'll take you to Red Lobster for dinner. We'll throw that in there. Just kidding. We won't do that. All right. Hey, thank you guys. I want to thank our sponsors again: Speed Strap, Rock and Turf Mats, Maxxis Tires, and Baja Designs. Thanks to those guys. Appreciate them getting behind us. And we will have one more of these shows, which will be our riders meeting, wrapping up the weekend, talking about what we saw, and that'll be it for 2024. Getting into Supercross.
What about MX of Nations?
Yeah, we'll probably do an MX of Nations show. We can definitely do that. So
I think that'd be one for everybody.
Yeah. Well, anyway, have a great weekend. If you're in the area, enjoy the races, guys, and we'll see you guys back here Monday to break down what we saw. Thank you. Take care.
If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.